Welcome to Film Talk Weekly Radio. This is your guest host, Castle Cersei, with the Santa Fe International Film Festival. It's coming up this week, October 16th through 20th. Today, we're here with a very special guest, Jeffrey Crowley, Associate Programmer for the Santa Fe International Film Festival for the second year. Welcome.
Castle, thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be having this conversation with you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm outside of Denver right now. You're outside of Queens. You're
Yes, yeah.
in
Well, I'm
Queens.
I'm in Queens proper right now. Yeah, the boyfriend's got a great apartment and I'm crashing for the week.
It does. It looks like a mid-century couch and some nice artwork behind you.
Yeah, we love a print of Christine's world, right?
Oh, yeah. And we secretly coordinated on our outfits.
Who doesn't? Yeah, we I just mentioning before to you, we love a turquoise moment to celebrate the Southwest.
We do. And there will be more of it when I get to Santa Fe. Are you coming to Santa Fe?
I am, yeah. So I'll be flying out a day early and then getting back home a day late. Give myself some cushion time. And believe it or not, so 2 years with the festival, my first time that I'll be in the state of New Mexico. So I'll get to be closer to seeing all 50 states before I reach the end of my rope. Yeah.
How many states do you have left?
Oof. I'm bad to make a little factoid out of that. I don't know. I'm gonna say I've been to over half of them, or let's say that this is gonna put me just over half.
Okay.
Whether it's true or not, I'll say that New Mexico will be my 26th state, just to be able to round up to 100 soon. Yeah.
Round up to 100.
Oh, percent. Sorry, 50 states.
100%.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah. Like there's 100 states now. I only have 17 left. I did do the count recently. So,
Oh, very nice.
yes.
I'm a sucker for the license plate game, and sometimes that's enough for me. If I could get to 50 license plates seen on, any interstate road travel, whether it's a long family road trip or just like a 3 hour I'm stuck in traffic on I-95. That's a way to pass the time and make me imagine that I'm visiting these places that I'm seeing on the backs of cars.
It's close. Are you going to drive to Santa Fe then?
Ooh, I wish I had the time to. I will. Who's ever said I will unfortunately be flying out? I will unfortunately be flying out to Santa Fe,
Hmm.
um, and I'm really looking forward to the trip. Yeah, it's going to be a great time out there. Not simply for me to see one more state, but this year's program is a terrific one. Really thrilled to have participated in its shaping once again this year, and all sorts of exciting headlines that have been coming out about the festival this week in celebration of the titles and programs that have been selected to be showcased.
So tell us some of the headlines. Fill us in.
Oh, sure thing. So just last week, our festival was awarded Oscar qualifying status. That allows shorts that win the top prizes in the narrative, animation, and documentary fields eligibility to compete in their respective categories at the Academy Awards. A great incentive for establishing and early filmmakers to seek out our festival. You never know what gold lies at the end of the Santa Fe rainbow. It was also announced that our lifetime achievement honoree this year is the peerless Bryan Cranston.
Oh,
His
no.
multi-hyphenate work in New Mexico specifically and beyond, of course, has been lauded by everyone under the sun, and rightly so. So a huge honor to be welcoming Mr. Cranston to the festival.
I'm excited to meet Dr. Tim Watley. Dennis
Yeah,
Tim Watley is who I'm most excited about. But of course, love him in Breaking Bad. Yeah, it's just going to be a really cool fest.
totally. And we've even got Seven Samurai, the Akira Kurosawa film, turned 70 years young this year. It is as great as it's ever been, and perhaps even better now with the new restoration that it just received, being put out by Janus Films in select cities earlier this summer, and now making its way southwest this fall. All of that is to say nothing of the other festival programming that we have, which includes, the latest work from Steve McQueen, Ramel Ross, Mariel Heller, Mike Lee, and many other really terrific filmmakers, both heard of and not yet, but soon to be heard of.
Cool. So, like, tell us what it's like to be a film programmer for the kids out there, for people who don't know, like
Sure,
what
sure.
it's about, like how does it even work?
This is a conversation I get to have every holiday season with my family when
Oh,
they ask,
great.
"What do you do again?"
Jeffrey.
And the simplest way that I get to put it is I watch a lot of movies and then I help people find what movies they're going to watch. Throughout the year, Santa Fe International is an open submission festival. We have a few different deadlines leading up to the final submission deadline. And so that opens it up to student filmmakers, all the way up to, fully professional, pre-distribution plan assigned titles to kind of enter that even playing field. And what I'm thrilled to share is that Santa Fe is a festival that celebrates all of the above. As exciting as some of the big sales market festivals that occur throughout the year are and can be, what I love about Santa Fe is that in 5 short days they pack, from a small, to say independent is not the right word, but as independently spirited of a film, if it's a student's first project, if it's a group of friends who just picked up a camera and were shooting something interesting, all the way to those sorts of big, what the pundits would call award season hopeful titles, and everything in between. Santa Fe has a really strong commitment to celebrating, the entire spectrum of filmmaking at large.
Yeah, we used to be called the Independent Festival, and
They
now we
changed
are,
that I in the title, absolutely.
yes, yeah, luckily it's an I. Also an I is international. So we changed that last year. Uh, another big thing we have is a great Indigenous program and New Mexico film program, which I really appreciate.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to have, again, like I'm amazed by what the team is able to produce in only 5 days, the 16th through the 20th of this month. A dedicated sidebar to Indigenous filmmakers, to first-time filmmakers, to local filmmakers, in addition to the special presentations of titles in and out of competition.
The festival is this week, starting October 16th through 20th. And it's oh my God, is it the 14th or 15th?
Oh, it's a Sweet 16 this year. Yeah,
Sweet
16th edition.
16.
Yeah,
Ah, okay. I must have been thinking about how long I've been involved, which I think is 13 years. And you've been involved 2 years.
just two. Yeah, but already a really consistent, rewarding process over those 2 years. Um, as the industry continues to rebound after COVID, I've been incredibly grateful for the generosity of the Santa Fe team, keeping me around and giving me something to look forward to and to do throughout the year.
Well, how does a programmer from Queens find the Santa Fe International Film Festival? What's that? Oh,
Ooh, it's a lot of looking for a job after COVID came and came and took a nice one away. Um, Santa Fe has an outstanding screener program. Lots of festivals have similar ones. If you head to our website, santafe.film, one of the tabs that you'll be able to review under the Get Involved section is to become a screener. And what
oh,
that means is you go through the process of watching every one of the titles. Around this time of year, a lot of people will bring up to me, which is kind of a taboo term, Oscar bait. What is Oscar bait? And from those sorts of awards hopeful titles all the way down to the micro budget productions. I don't think anybody makes a movie to win an award. I think people make a movie because they want to make a movie.
mhm.
And so to honor that, the very least that we can do is watch that hard work all the way through. You never know what you're going to be surprised by. You might think that you know a movie within 5 minutes. Oftentimes you may be right. You never know how you're going to change your mind come the end of what you're watching, though.
So given this, how many films are you watching per year?
Ooh, so that's a long list. I think it's definitely each of us. I think some of the shorts programmers will be watching even more. I focus on feature length submissions, but certainly in the upper 100 plus titles. annually just for this festival alone. And there's more than just one Jeffrey there. You know, I'm one of a few of the associate programmers on the team. And so with that in mind, each of us watching and overlapping, we got a comfortable Venn diagram of, you know, making sure every film is watched by, I think, at least two viewers, and then discussed. Just making sure that you know, we are watching a ton of things. It is a year-round gig, but that we're also giving multiple views to those submissions, just in case. You know, I love a thriller. I love a documentary. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea to be, you know, to be learning or be scared by a film.
I don't want to be scared by a
Those are
film.
two things. Those are experiences I love while watching a movie. And if that's not someone else's gig, then, you know, the opportunity is available to them to share that, you know, this might be for someone else's taste. Great. Let's get it to someone else's taste. And what do they think of this? So that the right audience is being supported by a multiple of genres or modes of filmmaking.
And a side note, you're also on the filmmaker grant team. Can you, what's your position there?
Oh, sure thing. So I'm
Yeah.
a member of the committee that helps decide the awards given to filmmakers for two of the different grants that the festival hosts. Or sorry, that the Film Institute hosts, Santa Fe Film Institute. Um, I, along with the team members, review the dozens upon hundreds of applications that come in. And it's another process that's been really rewarding. You know, again, as a filmmaker, in addition to being a film programmer, I'm one of those folks who's submitting similar grant applications to other, you know, other granting opportunities. To know that Santa Fe takes the time to so thoroughly go over every single one of the applicants by multiple reviewers, and then to collectively discuss who we think is most deserving, why we think, you know, there might be a need, and how ultimately how we can be as generous as possible to as many of the deserving candidates for those grants. It's a great process to see how that version of the sausage is made. You know, you might be wondering when you watch a film all the way through its end credits, what does it mean that it received this, you know, this tax rebate, or what does it mean that it received support from this organization? You may one day see at the end of your next favorite movie that a film received funding from the Santa Fe Film Institute because of the very programs that they foster year round.
And I think I was also on the granting committee, but you probably remember better. Like, we had the largest grant this year, like
I
in
believe so. So I
yeah,
forget what the total amounts were, but I know that
25,000, I think, but it was more than in the past. So that was like big news for us as well.
I think ultimately four, maybe five grant recipients, and absolutely several hundred and then several $1,000 amounts being given out to the different filmmakers and their projects.
Yeah, that's great. So you're pleased with the process of Santa Fe, both on
Oh,
the,
I love it. I mean, we're the best, biggest little film festival that's out there. It's a we're committed not only to exhibition but supporting you know, the next project coming down the pike,
yeah.
from production to the curtain opening on that silver screen.
Mm-hmm. And were you there? You weren't there last year. This is your first time in Santa Fe.
Correct. Yeah, this
Yeah.
will be first time in the state for me, which is exciting stuff. You know,
Have you
always
been
always
out
lots of
west?
So I've been out to California for sure. I think that's the extent of my West Coast travel. My boyfriend and his family are from Texas, so I've been spending a bunch of time in Texas over the past few years.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen all of the state of Texas, though. You know, it's been a lot of East Texas,
Big
Central.
one. Yeah. It's like
Um,
the whole East Coast is Texas, probably.
a nice microcosm of the states entirely. You get some coastline, you get a
Yeah.
panhandle, you get the north, the south, the urban, the country. It's a nice little picture of a nice big little picture of our big little country.
Yes. Well said. So I want to know more about you and your origin story. Like, where are you from? What did you want to be when you grew up? Like, Give me like you know, the
The
origin.
the TLDR on Jeffrey.
The
Absolutely.
TLDR, yes.
So I just turned 30 this past year, and everyone told me that that would feel worse than it actually did, but I'm okay with being 30 years old right now.
Okay.
I've been working in film exhibition for um, the past 10, 11-ish, 12-ish years, depending on how much include a COVID learning curve to that number. Um, but about 10 years or so in exhibition. My
What is exhibition for?
Oh,
for,
sure thing.
for
Showing movies, the places that you go to see a movie. So that for me starts with being a movie theater usher,
okay.
ripping tickets at
Okay.
the local art house theater. I'm from Westchester, New York,
Okay.
and the Jacob Burns Film Center in Pleasantville, New York. My old stomping grounds. I worked there for a little over 7 years. I started as one of the folks who, scoops popcorn and sells tickets. I eventually was managing at the theater, and then also kind of dipped my toes for the first time into the pool of film programming through their education campus. They used to host um, a high school film series. What I always thought in my head as like, what are the gateway films? What's the movies that we're going to show to kids of a certain age to get them hooked? Uh, and
Like what? Like what?
these are ooh, so I put like Fight Club is one of those movies, and just
Sure.
about anything by Stanley
What
Kubrick
was
is.
your gateway film?
Memento by Christopher Nolan. That's and definitely one that we showed. Friday Night Films was the name of the program that used to
Uh-huh.
operate there. Um, that's definitely and a movie that I had visited on like a class trip to the Burns, the Jacob Burns Film Center and the Media Arts Lab that they have there. That they had screened Memento for the students who were in attendance, and it was like, holy cow, a movie can do that, and I was of the right age. So that was impressionable on me, and being able to have that sort of moment made for, a next generation of movie nuts is a great opportunity.
What was your gateway film?
Memento by Christopher Nolan. That's and definitely one that we showed. Friday Night Films was the name of the program that used to
Uh-huh.
operate there. Um, that's definitely and a movie that I had visited on like a class trip to the Burns, the Jacob Burns Film Center and the Media Arts Lab that they have there. That they had screened Memento for the students who were in attendance, and it was like, holy cow, a movie can do that, and I was of the right age. So that was impressionable on me, and being able to have that sort of moment made for, a next generation of movie nuts is a great opportunity. That's fun to find like what are the movies that are always going to entice people. If it's Cleo from 5 to 7, if it's the 400 Blows, if it's Seven Samurai, which we're showing that restoration of at the festival this year, like the big titles of world and independent and documentary cinema that aren't shown on the big screens for contemporary audiences en masse, but if you know the right place to look and you highlight those places are certainly available for folks. Um, as far as work at the Burns goes, that was a killer opportunity. I still go there. I'm a member there. My family and I are there. Buddy of mine is a projectionist there still. Um, After working there, I got a job programming for Alamo Drafthouse's Yonkers venue, where I really got to cut my teeth in learning what does it mean to balance a theater that runs year round with new release titles. So the movies that come out on a Friday or a Wednesday if it's the day before Thanksgiving, as well as repertory content that comes in. What's an excuse that we can make that people need to see this older title on the big screen again?
Uh-huh.
Um, that was an outstanding opportunity that I had. I made a ton of friends while working at Alamo, and then unfortunately, COVID came and cut that opportunity
Oh,
short a little too soon.
right.
In the time since, I've been, working at a number of different festivals as part of their screening and programming committees. I've done extended contract work with Metrograph Cinema in Chinatown, helping produce their outstanding, super eclectic program of repertory titles. And for the past 2 years, my work with Santa Fe International has been consistent is the word I keep coming back to, because when you work in this side of the industry, it's a lot of nomadic behavior. It's a lot of waiting for the next gig. Santa Fe has been a really sustainable, ongoing process, an opportunity for me. So it's the next feather in the programming cap. And forgive me, I don't mean to be taking too much time up talking about
No,
myself and my own
we want you
origin.
to.
I
That is,
neglected to include at the Burns, the person who, really three individuals. All right, we're counting up. Soon by the end of this, we'll be up to 18 individuals that I owe my understanding and passion for film programming to. One of the programmers from back in the day at the Burns, who is now, I believe, the president of Brooklyn Academy of Music, Gina Duncan. Her work is outstanding. Her taste is incredible, and being able to learn by example from her, both in the movies that she brought in and the very nature of what her job was. That there's someone who picks the movies. There's someone who gets to have a curatorial eye on movies and to effect give film the museum context. Her work has always been the stuff of inspiration to me. And then a series that started at the Burns the same year that I started by series that started by guest curator Lena Mata, the contemporary Arab cinema series that used to run at the Jacob Burns Film Center and now, lo and behold, continues these days at BAM out in Brooklyn, is for my money's worth, the best individual film series ever. I think that Western media's representation of Arab stories is slanted at best. And this is a series that is dedicated to showing new works coming from the MENA region by Arab directors. Oftentimes, those directors or the creative participants in those films will show up for a Q&A. Who doesn't love a good Q&A? But really, it is a series that has, more than just about any other film series I've seen, generated this culture of returning. We were talking before about how going to film festivals is akin to going to camp. My favorite camp to go to is contemporary Arab cinema. So shouts out always to Lena Mata and her producing partner, Odile Israelson. They're my favorite camp friends to see every year they come back to New York.
and when is that? I'm just curious
That runs,
myself.
I believe it runs July in BAM. It's been moved around a bit. It used to be always the second week of September, right around the UN General Assembly, was always something to not be specifically counter-programmed off of, but that was just the timing that presented itself, as I understand at least. But now it's a summer series, so you got no excuse to not show up. Who doesn't want to spend a hot summer night in a nice air-cooled theater watching films from a part of the world that we desperately need to hear more from and learn more from?
Yeah. I have a friend in New York who I met through the Santa Fe International Film Festival, Richard Jordan, but his little summer hack is to go sleep in movie theaters. Now, we should be watching the movies, but when it's too hot or your air conditioning's not quite right, you can always go sit in a cool theater and take a nap. Or like if you're walking too much, like if you're visiting New York, it's a total sidebar. Like, another thing that movie theaters can be used for is to go, I always wish there was a place to take a nap real quick when I'm out and about in the city. Movie theaters are those places.
Well,
And you might catch something.
I'm being a bad cinephile here, but I forget which director the quote I'll butcher is attributed to. But a friend of mine recently shared some director loving when people fall asleep in their movies, that a movie could elicit the sort of dream state and the sleep response to a certain extent. So here to falling asleep in a movie
I'm
theater.
okay with
Don't
that.
snore too loudly.
Often fall asleep in the opera and the ballet, and not because I'm bored. I love it, but it kind of just lulls me to sleep. So, the right movie could do that. Maybe not a thriller like you like, maybe not even a documentary where you're learning and your interest is piqued, But maybe I don't know what would be good sleeping movies, but just a pro tip, a little hack to city living when you need to get off your feet. Uh, okay, that was a sidebar. We're back at it. So while we were on break, Jeffrey tried to research what was that filmmaker that you could fall asleep to, and he phoned a friend.
My buddy Robert Caffarelli coming in, total clutch, the best friend I have, to fill in for my failing cinephilia. That would be Abbas Kiarostami, and the quote is, "I prefer the films that put their audience to sleep in the theater." Um, so we unfortunately are not, to my knowledge at least, showing any Kiarostami programs this go around at the festival. But that's a great quote to keep in mind anytime you feel like you need to fight sleep in a movie theater. In case anyone gives you what for, you could tell them that like one of the great world cinema directors of all time is encouraging your behavior in that very moment to be truthful. So
You heard it
think
here.
with that what you will.
Okay. Now, have you seen everything that's in the festival?
Ooh, so I have not seen everything. There are a few of the big titles. Blitz, the new Steve McQueen film, I'm dying to see. I haven't been able to catch that just yet. And then by and large, the shorts programs. So the way that I'm positioned in the programming team, they have me dedicated to the features. I'm really excited to see what the shorts team has developed this year, especially in our inaugural year as an Oscar qualifying festival. So if you're like me, there's no one festival, there's no one theater that can show everything, and try as you might, you won't be able to watch everything. But this is an outstanding opportunity to fill in those gaps of what are some award season releases that you want to catch up on? What are some smaller regional festival titles that you may have heard about from some friends, you may have heard about on this very program today? um, and everything in between. It's a really great pool to dive into as far as things that you might be familiar with or unfamiliar with.
Last but not least, I want to get into talk about what you program for the festival and what you're excited about. You mentioned some hidden gems.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I want to take a moment to highlight three titles that are playing at the festival this year. These are three movies that I really love. I'm so glad to see that they made the final cut, that I championed throughout the process. A kind of a goofy take on Duck Duck Goose. I got Doc Doc narrative for you. So two docs and a narrative, some great hidden gems. The first of them is Helen and the Bear, which is from the director Alex Blair. That screens on Friday, October 18th at 5:30 p.m. This is a nonfiction film that I would describe as being about what it means to take care of someone. Um, I know it's an election year, and so your ears might be right to start burning at the sound of a documentary that follows an age gap relationship between a liberal activist and her Republican congressman husband, who is 26 years her senior. But in Helen and the Bear, those sorts of like buzzy descriptors give way to something much more intimate and wise and thoughtfully contoured. And I can't recommend it enough. I think the treatment of Helen's story is really wonderful. Um, and you can imagine in less accomplished hands how sensationalized a movie like this could have been made to be. But
Mhm.
what Alex has crafted here, I think, is really soulful and generous. This expression of the healing powers and the shortcomings also of a multi-decade love. I think her work ought to be one of the celebrated nonfiction films to come out of this year. And director Alex Blair and her film subject, Helen McCloskey, will be in attendance at the screening to discuss their work
Oh,
after.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number two on my list is the latest film from Kevin Ford. Kevin's work, I think, most popularly recently, could have been seen as one of the, I believe, a producer, cinematographer, and editor for Senior, the Netflix released Robert Downey Sr. documentary. Kevin is now in the director's chair for Everything is Stolen, which plays Sunday, October 20th at 10:15 a.m. This one's another documentary, as I set up, and Everything is Stolen is a boundary blurring, some might say experimental film that collages poetry and mixed format photography while centering artist Eller Coltrane, who is most popularly recognized as the lead performer in Richard Linklater's Boyhood, which for
Mm.
my money is arguably like the greatest movie ever made. However, this documentary is not a behind the scenes doc. It is not a where are they now story. And it instead gently eschews that sort of celebrity context for a simpler, more elemental portraiture. And what emerges, I find, to be this really contemplative reflection on queerness and fresh starts. And it's all set in New Mexico. So there's a bit of a local appeal to this one as well. And director Kevin Ford will be in attendance for a post-screening discussion that I'll be moderating. So absolutely come
Cool.
out. It's Sunday morning. I love starting my mornings as early as possible with a movie or ending my evenings as late as possible with a movie. Seeing Everything is Stolen at Santa Fe would help you, if you're like me, accomplish the former.
And you gave us the
Uh,
date and time on that?
oh, yes. Yeah, that's going to be Sunday the 20th at 10:15 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's quick. It's 75-minute documentary. Who doesn't love a short, really efficient feature like that? It's a
Like
really great
breakfast.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unlike, other sorts of docs that you might see, it's got a really artful craft to it. Um, the last film that I'd like to recommend is a narrative. It is the latest film from Portuguese director Miguel Gomes. It's called Grand Tour, and that is screening on Friday, October 18th at 1:15 p.m. Um, uh, Grand Tour premiered at the Cannes Film Festival this past May. It received the award there for Best Director. It will also represent Portugal as their country's official submission to the Oscars this year for Best International Feature Film, which marks the third time that director Gomes has had a film given that honor. And now we're bringing it to New Mexico. It is a travelogue romance about a cowardly groom-to-be who is bobbing and weaving across the Asian continent while his determined to wed fiancée gives him chase. The film is set during
You just
19...
come up with that description yourself.
I did, yes, yeah, but
It's
that's
so
why they pay me.
good.
That's why they pay me the medium bucks,
I
is
know.
I like when I like something like
It
that,
really
I
would,
try
it
to be
really
able to put it to
works for
sleep.
me. That's,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Uh, with that, so it is technically a period film. It's set between 1917 and 1918, but the movie operates with just gleeful, anachronistic abandon. It gives you images and props and architecture that are deliberately in and out of time. It jumps between, color photography and black and white photography, on location scenes and soundstage set production. It is like, to me, everything that a movie kind of can be. It's gorgeously photographed. It's playfully subversive. And it is thus far one of my very favorite movies that I've seen this year. For all of this information, if you go to sfiff.eventive.org, one more time, that's sfiff.eventive.org, you'll be able to see the total list of the programs for the festival this year, the schedule, and little details on all of the films, feature length and short, that we're presenting next week.
So given this, how many films are you watching per year?
Ooh, so that's a long list. I think it's definitely each of us. I think some of the shorts programmers will be watching even more. I focus on feature length submissions, but certainly in the upper 100+ titles annually, just for this festival alone. And there's more than just one Jeffrey there. I'm one of a few of the associate programmers on the team, and so with that in mind, each of us watching and overlapping. We got a comfortable Venn diagram of, making sure every film is watched by, I think, at least two viewers, and then discussed. Just making sure that we are watching a ton of things. It is a year-round gig, but that we're also giving multiple views to those submissions, just in case, I love a thriller. I love a documentary. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea to be, to be learning or be scared by a film.
And one thing I love about festivals is the shorts program because it's hard to see shorts kind of outside of a festival. I feel like there's more platforms for that, sometimes, but and some theaters are even screening like Oscar shorts and such, but
Yeah.
it's a great
To
place.
that end, YouTube kind of killed the short film star, right? It's
Mhm.
things are super accessible, but it becomes difficult to find, what is the reason to put all of these programs together, and how do you aspire to the necessary context that a lot of these really, really incredible short films are worthy of. And I think Derek Horn and the shorts program team at Santa Fe have done an outstanding job, at least by the descriptions. I'm excited to catch the
Eric
to
Horn
catch
is a very talented short film programmer that has been there as long as I have, which I've been working on the festival, I think around 12 years maybe. And Derek was there before that. So he's very talented. And the other thing I love about festivals is the Q&As, and you get to meet and hear from, people like yourself, filmmakers, actors, subjects, and you can sort on our website by in person, like filmmakers in attendance or subjects in attendance, which is a cool feature on Eventive. You can also access it santafe.film, and you can go to view the schedule as well and buy passes. What else do we need to talk about? I want to one day hear about, we don't have time today, but I want to hear about your film work and just hear more from you in general. You're a delightful guest.
Well,
Done,
thank you very much.
done a
Thank you.
great job today. I can't wait to meet
Find
you.
me at the festival, and this goes to you, Castle, and anyone else listening. If you find me and you want to hear about the movies that me and my friends are making, I always make the time to talk about, my own stuff that way, I
Yeah.
suppose. But thank you for the interest. When we're both on the ground next week, I'll make sure that I'll slip you a screener link. I'll let you check out what me and my buddies have been making together.
Okay. I'll take you up on that. So thanks again for joining us. Jeffrey Crowley, Associate Programmer with Santa Fe International Film Festival. The festival is this week, October 16th through 20th, santafe.film. What else do people need to know? I don't know. I think that might be it.
I think that
Playing the
covers
music. We're playing us off right now.
it.
What else do we need to know?
Oh, no, I just me reiterating my thanks for the conversation. I
Yeah.
think you hit all the points, the 16th through the 20th. It's a great festival lineup this year, and we hope to see you folks out there.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.